All right, folks, let's talk real quick about the five necessary components to any scene. Scenes follow similar patterns as a story itself. So, if you're familiar with Freytag's pyramid for stories, then you'll probably recognize a lot of this. So, the first part of every scene begins with an inciting incident. Basically, what this is something that kind of upsets the balance of the character's life. You got two different ways that you can do that. There can be a cause or there can be a coincidence. So, a cause is something that a character actively does to disrupt someone's life. Coincidence would be just something that happens at random. So, for example, let's just say we're writing a story and you hear birds chirping outside and you see that the sun is shining. This would be a coincidental inciting incident that kind of interrupts your sleep. The second part is what we call a complication or a turning point. So, complication is something that creates a turning point that forces the character to react. It can be a problem or it can be something good, like a win, that creates some kind of new thing that the character has to do. There's two ways that you can add to a complication. You can do it through character action, where somebody actually like does something to create a problem or somebody does something to make things better, or it can be done through what we call revelation, gaining new information. Learning some kind of new information that would make things better, make things worse. So to take our example, let's say uh, the birds wake you up and all of a sudden you realize that you're late for school and already have too many tardies. Your next one would be a suspension. That would be a revelation. It's new information that has now caused a bigger problem, which takes us to the third part, which is the crisis. That's the moment of decision. The crisis is always going to be a question. It's a question that offers a choice between two options. You're always going to have to make a decision here. So it can be what we call a best bad choice. In other words, it's a no win situation where neither one is a great choice. You just have to choose the better of the two. Or it can be what we call irreconcilable good. It could work out good in one way, but bad in another. So to go back to our example, if your next tardy is going to get suspension, you have the question that you have to figure out: do you stay at home, miss important information from school, risk getting fussed um, at home, or do you call your mom? Do you get in trouble for having too many tardies? It's a decision you have to make. So that would take us to the fourth part, which is the climax, and that is the actual decision that the character makes. It's the active answer to the crisis question. So a character, when faced with that crisis question, has to act in some way. And action is what reflects character. So you can't just have a character think through stuff. They have to actually do something. So in our example, let's just say you decide to roll over and go back to sleep. That would be an action that answers that question. And then the last part is the resolution. You can even kind of look at this as the meaning, like what do these actions mean? This kind of tells the reader what the climax means. So the climax is what happens, and then the resolution would be like the significance of that. So it could be something like how things have changed for the character, what new information that reveals to us about that character. So you roll over and go back to sleep. It could mean many different things. It could mean that you're a bolder person now. It could mean that you're better able to make calculated decisions, or maybe you're just tired and so you go back to sleep. So, just to recap our five parts to a scene: we start with the inciting incident, move into the complication, which takes us up to the crisis question, and then the climax is the fourth part, and then we end with the resolution.